The world is becoming more global and more interconnected. Developing economies and their populations that have historically been disconnected from global trade and industry are starting to get plugged into the global marketplace. And as technologies and services such as smartphones and high-speed internet, mobile banking, social commerce, and outsourcing begin to touch the lives of every citizen around the world, I believe a new era of global prosperity and abundance for all is on the horizon, allowing the most exciting moment in human history to take place. So today we're going to tell a story about a special nation in the heart of Asia Pacific, the Philippines. If you're an international investor looking to discern whether to grow or expand your business, or if you're a Filipino entrepreneur or local government official, then you're going to receive something very special in this interview segment of Innovators, where your future is now. With the young, talented English-speaking workforce of over 100 million people, averaging a GDP growth rate of over 6.5% year over year, the Philippines over the last several decades has made rapid achievements from a traditional agricultural economy to one of significant advancements in the areas of outsourcing, tourism, information technologies, manufacturing, and with significant opportunities for additional growth and advancement in the coming decades. So, if you're potentially considering the Philippines as an investment location, how do you know if the country has the right infrastructure, talent, and incentives to give you the highest return on your investment? Well, to help us answer this question and more, I've invited one of the Philippines' rising stars, Director General Ching B Plaza, who is the head of the Philippines Economic Zone Authority. Ching is a military general, congresswoman, and now as head of PEZA, has dedicated her time and talent to helping the Philippines become one of the fastest growing economies in the world. We'll begin our story by listening to Ching tell us a bit more about who she is, her appointment as head of PEZA, and her vision for a peaceful and prosperous Philippines.
I'm very much a Filipina. By heart, I love my country so much. So when the president asked me which agency would I want to serve the country under his administration, I chose PEZA. So PEZA is the Philippine Economic Zone Authority. It is the biggest economic zone authority operating nationwide. We're in charge of registering lands and buildings to become horizontal and vertical economic zones. So in our horizontal economic zones, landowners from the private sector, local government units, from the indigenous peoples, the state universities and colleges, and of course private universities at that, who has land holdings. And now we include government agencies, the national government agencies who are managing public lands, which fortunately we have millions of hectares which are mostly idle. So our second client in PEZA, after the economic zone developers, who are the building owners and the landowners, are the industries. So we are now attracting industries who are into export, exporters who are into manufacturing, processing, refinery, assembly, tourism, and medical tourism, and of course IT industries and BPOs. So these are our clients in the Philippine Economic Zone Authority, who must locate their industries inside our economic zones, the vertical and horizontal economic zones, in order to enjoy the incentives. So we are now very aggressive in promoting the Philippines to the whole world, and we are now competing because the trend, it seems, which is happening all over the world, especially in in Asia, in Southeast Asia, and almost all over the world, is the putting up of economic zones. So we are now competing with different economic zones of countries around the world, and as practiced, we attract industries, we attract investors who are into export oriented, so that we see to it that our incentives must be competitive globally, so we can attract more investors to come. And we emphasize on investors and industries that are strategic and basic, and of course big ticket industries. Big ticket industries are those who really put in huge capital investment. And when we say strategic industries and basic industries, these are the industries that we badly need because we don't have yet their products in our country. So some countries like China and Vietnam, for example, other than providing incentives, they also provide subsidies just to attract these industries, these exporters. So there is so much challenge faced by PEZA, and I am fortunate because I happen to be one of those who authored the law creating the Philippine Economic Zone Authority when I was a member of the Philippine Congress.
As a foreign investor myself, and one who is hired by and consults for organizations around the world looking to invest in the Philippines, I was surprised to learn that the Philippines had an organization like PEZA, designed to work hand in hand with landowners and international investment groups around the world to accelerate their success within the nation. So let's listen in as Ching shares with us the state of the Philippines economy and her plans to accelerate its growth and create new opportunities for international investors.
My focus now is on how to spread the development in the countryside. PEZA is now 24 years old when it became a law. It actually followed the footsteps of then Export Processing Zone Authority. So we inherited in PEZA 4 public economic zones, meaning this is owned by the government. So it is now PEZA managing these 4 public economic zones. And from 16 operating economic zones under the Export Processing Zone Authority, we have now 395, both vertical and horizontal economic zones. So we are these 395 are into manufacturing. We also have tourism economic zone. We have agro-industrial. We have IT parks and centers, and medical tourism. In order to really spread the development to the countryside, we have to create new types of economic zones. So we are now looking at areas that we will put up this new type of economic zones like the KIST. KIST is an economic zone we call as the Knowledge, Innovation, Science and Technology Park, which we will be locating inside the state universities and colleges because they own hundreds of hectares and most of these are idle lands. And also we conducted an inventory of our land holdings in the Philippines. Like the Philippines is composed of 30 million hectares, and I found out that 15 million hectares are timberland. And fortunately, We are importing most of our wood materials and our paper needs in the country because the government stopped the wood industry. And that is what I want to restore back, because we are blessed with this 15 million hectares of timberland. Why are we not using it? And instead buy and import the wood and the paper materials. I also found out that the Philippines has 7 million hectares of agricultural land. But what an irony, because we are importing again from rice, sugar, coffee, up to vegetables and fruits. We export our quality fruits, for example, and we eat the rejects, and the rejects are still lacking, so we import. So we are again laying idle the 7 million hectares of agricultural land. So we are now creating a new type of an economic zone we call the agro-industrial economic zone, so that we can invite all industries in the world who are into food and agriculture-related industries like livestock, poultry, and many others. Because we want to ensure food security, so we must utilize these 7 million hectares of agricultural lands. Another new economic zone that PEZA is creating is the mineral processing economic zone.
Listening to Ching, it was clear to me that she had a vast and ambitious vision for the nation. Through a combination of its infrastructure, land, workforce, location, and more, the Philippines is in an incredible position to help governments and corporations around the world unlock new growth by leveraging its unique assets that, according to PricewaterhouseCoopers, is estimated to transform the nation into the 12th richest economy in the world by 2060.
We found out that we have almost 8 million hectares of mining lands. We are even dubbed as the 5th mineralized country in the world. It's an irony again, because our government is allowing the exportation of raw minerals instead of processed or finished products. And we import the finished product in form of steel, because we don't have right now an integrated steel industry, and even the construction materials, even the basic tools, we have to import it. We have a lot of advantages, like number one, of course, is our people. Number two, the location of the Philippines is at the center of Asia and Pacific. So we are the nearest to the whole world. We can be the regional hub of everything. We can be a regional hub for manufacturing. We can be a regional hub for tourism. We can be a regional hub for training, because we are English speaking. We can be a regional hub for IT industries and BPOs. Almost everything, the Philippines being at the center of Asia and Pacific, and a very dynamic and English-speaking people, we can actually be a regional hub for almost every type of an industry. Our other advantage is we only have two types of weather, the sunny and the rainy. So we can actually plant the whole year round.
So I decided at this point to ask Ching about the different kinds of opportunities available within popular industries such as tourism, manufacturing, agriculture, BPO, and more. Let's listen in as Ching shares with us her insights on some of the benefits of doing business in the Philippines.
The Philippines is blessed with a lot of tourism destinations. We are one of the major industries that attract people all over the world is our tourism destination, the tourism industry. So we have a tourism economic zone that we are now, where we are inviting the industries who are into building resorts, theme parks, retirement villages, and even wellness and naturopathy villages. We also have identified IT parks and centers in every urban area or city in an urban center of provinces and cities nationwide, because we want to have the IT industries and BPOs be spread all over the country.
At this point in the segment, we decided to zero in on the benefits of hiring Filipino workers, known for their English proficiency, excellent English speaking skills, and hospitality. I wanted to understand for Ching why the Philippines workforce and its location in Asia Pacific is such an incredible asset for companies around the world.
Foremost of our biggest advantage in the Philippines is the Filipino workforce. So we are now dubbed as the #1 call center or the voice industry in the world. It's because we have a lot of IT industries and BPOs located in the Philippines. And the IT industries, for example, consider the Filipinos as global knowledge, intelligent, and other than we are so friendly and hospitable, there's another character trait of the Filipinos that attracts not just IT industries, but almost all industries, especially foreign industries, who come to the Philippines because of that helpful, not just friendly and hospitable, where most of our foreign investors feel the Philippines as their second home. And they say the Filipinos are so helpful. Again, unlike other workers in the world, most are already aging. They have an aging population. The Philippines has the youngest population. Every year, we produce 1 million Filipinos who reach the working age of 18. Median age is 23. And then half of this 1 million, which is 500,000, are college or university graduates. So, plus the character traits of the Filipinos, which I have mentioned, very friendly, very hospitable, and very helpful. So this is the very word of our foreign investors, like it's easy to train Filipino workers because we can speak and understand English. No need to translate manuals and handbooks. We can speak and understand English, and our English accordingly is understandable. So the very helpful attitude of Filipinos also make the foreign investors very attracted to invest in our country, because unlike other workers of other countries, they ask, what am I going to do? But Filipinos, once they are hired by foreign investors, the very statement that they hear immediately is, how can we help? We want to help your company to be able to set up already everything. We can help in hiring people. We can help in setting up all that is needed by the foreign investor. So we are so proud of our biggest advantage, that is our Filipino workforce. So we have now programs like we will be putting up a special economic zone institute in every region, because we want to match and transform the Filipino worker to be world-class workers, because they're not just intelligent and global knowledge, can speak and understand English, plus the character traits. We want to instill some more better work ethics, discipline, nationalism, and the love of the country, the assistance and support that We have to give our investors, both Filipinos and foreign investors, so that every Filipino will be driven to help not just PEZA but the entire country to become fully industrialized.
I was so excited listening to Ching's vision for PEZA. So in the following section, Ching's going to discuss what PEZA is doing to champion the Filipino entrepreneur and their plans for spreading economic prosperity across the entire countryside.
That's why one of the big and new economic zone that we created is the Island Cities Economic Zone. So what is an island city economic zone? The Philippines is composed of 7,000 plus islands. The three big islands, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, we still have a lot of vacant islands. Vacant lands. So how much more for the 7,597 smaller islands? So we are now inviting again investors who will make it as a capital city of the world. Say we are looking for a Japanese investor, for example, who can put up in one of our islands, Tokyo, the capital of Japan. Another investor from China could put up the capital of China, which is Beijing Island, then Seoul, Korea, and so on and so forth. So what we foresee as the most attractive, like a tourism economic zone, are the island cities that we want to build as a type of an economic zone. So what becomes of our islands in the country? We become international tourism destinations because we have here the capital cities of the world in our islands. So that's one type of an economic zone I am now pursuing to attract investors. We also have the Defense Industrial Complex. Again, because our advantage is we are located at the center of Asian Pacific, we are now inviting the defense industries of the world to bring their manufacturing industries on military aircrafts, for example, hardware, software, the clothing, the vehicle, the equipment, the weapons can be manufactured in the Philippines. Again, because we have the advantage being at the center of Asian Pacific, we have only rainy and sunny climate, and of course we have English speaking and easy to train Filipino workers. Okay, so what will happen if we have the defense industry of the US, of China, of Israel, of Russia, and everybody in the world? So we are looking forward that other than creating jobs, the Philippines will become a zone of peace, because God forbid if there's going to be war, who would attack the Philippines when almost all are here bringing their business, bringing their industry in our country. So we hope to become a zone of peace where we are not an enemy of no one, but a friend of everyone.
At the heart of PEZA's strategy to modernize and industrialize the Philippines is an ambitious series of new economic zones. PEZA will soon be releasing their economic zone map, which will showcase these special locations around the country that will cater towards countless industries so that they can thrive like never before. So let's listen as Ching explains to us how these eco zones work and how they'll provide enormous benefits for new industries, their workforces, and the local environment.
Other than our advantages, our workforce, our two types of weather, we have a very fertile soil. We can actually plant all the different types of crops the whole year round. Our location, which is at the center of Asian Pacific. Other than that, we are enjoying the GSP Plus. GSP Plus is the General Systems of Preference granted by the European Union to the Philippines, which means that goods which are coming from the Philippines or made from the Philippines, which has 40% of local content, which are destined to Europe, enjoys zero tariff. We also is a beneficiary of the US, the America's GSP Plus, meaning we have almost all of our goods destined to the US, which has again 40% local content, also is enjoying zero tariff. We are a member of the ASEAN, so there is the ASEAN Free Trade Agreement or AFTA. So a similar GSP Plus is also enjoyed by the Philippines and other ASEAN members. Once we export the products made in the Philippines to the other ASEAN nation, we also enjoy the zero tariff. So this is a big advantage for the Philippines that we must be able to convey to the investors. In fact, I received now more than 10 interests from companies in China who wanted to transfer to the Philippines because of the ongoing US-China trade war, where once they export, China will export to the US and the US to China. Each of them impose very high tariff on their goods. No? So it's a very big advantage for the Philippines, for example, although these companies are not just looking at the Philippines but other nations of ASEAN, the ASEAN nations, where to transfer their companies. So if we are now trying our best in PEZA that we can take advantage of this situation, and the Philippines, by the way, is both a friend of the US and China. So we can attract some more not just Filipino investors but foreign investors to really take advantage of this GSP Plus beneficiary being accorded to the Philippines by the US, by the European countries, and the ASEAN countries. That's one. And then second, we want to attract more investors because we can provide them different location of economic zones. That's why we're creating different types of economic zones so that we can also develop all types of our land, and we can spread this development, especially in the countryside, because one of our goals, other than fully industrializing the country, we also want to eradicate importation, but increase our export capability, increase our production and manufacturing capability. So we are now encouraging the Filipinos, from the farmers to small and medium enterprises to all the domestic enterprises, to be able to complete the supply chain, so that if we have all these raw materials, for example, needed by industries, it will attract them to come to the Philippines because it will allow them to minimize the cost of their production once they buy these raw materials and everything in the Philippines, in the domestic market. And another goal, of course, is we have to incentivize not just the exporters. Right now, the incentives that PEZA is giving our exporters is great. No, they're happy with our incentives, and in fact, many has expansion plans. That's why we always appeal to our economic planners not to change the rules in the middle of the game. No? So not to change, and if ever we want to change, it must be an enhancement. Do not, because our exporters' incentives must be competitive globally. Okay. We also are appealing to our economic managers that we also incentivize our domestic enterprises. And we wish to mentor our Filipino enterprises to become indirect exporters and ultimately exporters themselves.
After speaking with several people at PEZA, I learned that in order for PEZA to achieve its vision for a bigger and better Philippines, the support of local government officials is absolutely critical in order to create more special economic zones. If you're an LGU, by partnering with PEZA and creating new economic zones, your land and its surrounding workforce will become more attractive to industries around the world, creating more jobs, more affluent communities, higher purchasing power, and ultimately more local tax revenue by accelerating your region's economic value. Let's listen in as Ching discusses some case examples of the benefits LGUs can enjoy by working together with PEZA on the creation of more economic zones.
I am inviting everyone, both Filipinos and foreign capitalists, come to the Philippines because this is a country so blessed with a lot. We are one of those very rich in soil. We can plant all types of crops. We are blessed with rich natural resources. We are also blessed with two types of weather only. So we can plant, manufacture, and do business the whole year round. And of course, we are blessed with our very intelligent and friendly, hospitable, and dynamic and helpful Filipino people. There is a lot of studies conducted by various international business consultants. And to mention one is Japan's JETRO. And in their comparisons with other ASEAN countries, almost everything is good to invest in the Philippines. So we are enjoining all our allies and soon to be allies, because we want to be a friend of everyone and an enemy of no one, to please come to the Philippines, explore the potentials of bringing your business, bringing your industry in our country, and you will surely not hesitate, because here in PEZA, we are one government agency recognized not just by our investors, but we are recognized by international agencies like, for example, the IFC World Bank, who continuously recognize the Philippines and PEZA, especially PEZA, the Philippine Economic Zone Authority, as having the best practice among the economic zones worldwide. And I'm happy to note that our existing investors, through their associations of semiconductors and electronics and manufacturing group. We also have the IBPOP. This is an association of BPOs and IT industries. The CCAP, a similar organization of BPOs, shared services, and IT industries. We also have PHILEA. This is the Association of Philippine Economic Zones Developers. CONWEP is also there, hearing from all their comments, and of course the joint foreign chambers like the American Chamber in the Philippines. We have the European Chamber. We have the Japanese Chamber, almost all chamber, 100%, who are here in the Philippines and doing business with PEZA. They are so happy and they have very high regard of our agency, which is the biggest economic zone authority and has provided them the one-stop shop, the ease of doing business in the Philippines. So I am enjoining again everybody in the world, come and invest to our country, and we assure you that you will all get the best services and the best programs that only the Philippines can offer and only the Philippine Economic Zone Authority can provide to all, to everybody in the world. Thank you.
The Philippines is quickly becoming a modern, industrialized, wealthy nation with accelerating opportunities and financial returns for companies and governments of all shapes and sizes. So, whether you're looking to export a particular set of products or offer products to their growing domestic market, or take advantage of their expanding tourism, BPO, information technology markets, it was clear to me after speaking with Ching and meeting the team at PEZA that the Philippines has a unique opportunity and incentives for everyone. So if you haven't already, make sure you contact PEZA if you're considering the Philippines as a potential investment market. They can guide you through the process and help you better understand what incentives or programs that may be available for your industry. You can reach out to PEZA by visiting their website at www.peza.gov.ph. Thanks for listening to this special interview segment of Innovators, where your future is now. I'm your host, Philip Liu, as we take you, the viewer, on a journey from panic to power.